Hey everybody, welcome to day 30 of my mental health journey. Crazy to think that it's been a month at this point. Um, yeah, not too much more to say about that, but for those of you who aren't familiar with my channel, essentially I document my day-to-day struggles with mental health, mainly anxiety, just with the hope of connecting with other folks and also providing a platform for which people for whom I can't speak are able to share their stories and hopefully connect with even more people in the process. So I'll keep it brief today. I just wanted to make this kind of a cathartic episode, basically, where I just thank everybody who's supported me up until this point. It's been amazing just making these videos. I really have enjoyed it a lot. I'm a creative person, and I guess I'm a little bit more expressive than I thought I was because these videos have been easy to make, simply because they're just kind of coming from the heart and everything. But I just want to say that for me, this has been incredible just to get, my sentiments off my chest that I feel like I've never really spoken about, or at least not in depth. And now I'm just kind of sharing them with whoever. And I think a younger me would have really cared about like people's opinions and being vulnerable and all that stuff. But at this point, it feels empowering. So I'm just going to keep making these videos because it's fun, even if only one person watches it, just because it's for you guys, but it's also for me, and it makes me feel good making these videos, and I'm not talking trash about people or doing negative stuff, so what the hell, I'm just gonna keep doing it. But I want to, just because I've reached the 30-day mark, I really want to thank everybody who was willing to do interviews with me, willing to provide any sort of feedback and whatnot, and I hope that you guys continue to do that just because I want to keep interviewing, I want to keep putting out new content that is relevant to the folks who are watching it and relevant to me as well. I don't want to compromise my values or anything, but if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to speak with whoever, speak on whatever. I'm an open book as far as that goes, and I'm not afraid to tap into topics that might be a little less comfortable. It's just I think makes for better content, and it makes for more real content, and it makes for content that will connect with more than just a single demographic. And that's just what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to connect with as many people as possible. So any and all suggestions are welcome. I can't promise that they'd get employed. I'm not going to do anything that's sexist or racist or like homophobic, transphobic, that kind of stuff. But if you want to speak on the experiences of those different demographics and you bring a valid perspective, then let's talk about it, because I don't want to speculate about what people for whom I have I haven't experienced what they experienced. I don't want to speculate on their sentiments. So I'd rather just have folks who have been living that life on the show to share their opinions about what's going on in the world, and where they feel like they fit in and how they feel like they've been treated. I think that that's all super interesting, and I think it would help more people get connected to the show, because they'd be seeing people like them talking, and it's not just me talking. So anyway, it's really hot in this car. I'm just starting to sweat right now, so I'm not going to make this video too much longer. But aside from the fact that I'm just very grateful that I've made it this far, and that you guys have been so gracious in watching my videos, sharing them, and providing insight and feedback for me, I was meditating today, and I do like 5-minute meditation every day with this app called Headspace. And basically the way it works is I do like the meditation of the day, and the person kind of speaks about the mind for a little bit, and then it always transitions into the same like 3 to 5 minute meditation. And today it was just speaking on basically everybody throughout the course of their life develops a story about themselves, like a narrative, and you kind of live with this narrative because it ultimately shapes your identity. But the meditation person was basically saying like, yeah, you develop this throughout the course of your life, but there's such a flux between like different stages of your life. Like, has this narrative that you've created for yourself, is it even valid? I mean, like, maybe it was valid 10 years ago. Like, for example, for me, I've always considered myself kind of like a quiet, just like a quiet, laid back, stay in the cut type person who doesn't really rock the boat. But I feel like in the past 10 years, like, I've changed that a lot. I've rocked the boat a lot more, taken a ton of risks. I've become a lot more vocal. I just feel a lot more solid on my feet. And sometimes, oh, my finger just went across there, might be. I just feel like the whole idea of like the quiet Clark or whatever, like that doesn't really, I mean, I'm still low key and everything, but like, I feel like that doesn't actually represent who I am. Like, I can be whoever I want to be. I don't have to be, intrinsically tied to some story that represented my life 10, 15 years ago, when I can change the narrative and recognize that the narrative will constantly be changing, because it's just not realistic to tie your identity to like a singular story. Like, there's so many different things that occur and so many different actions that you take that it's hard to kind of put yourself in a box like that. And I felt like I did that, and I took that identity with me to certain, maybe like social interactions and whatnot. Maybe I didn't see myself for who I really was, which was a lot better than the way I was actually viewing myself. And sometimes when you look at it through that lens, you realize that there's a lot more to you than just a simple story. Like, you embody a whole lot of different things. You have different friend groups, you have different interests, and those different interests could be radically different. You could be like a bodybuilder, but at the same time a huge nerd that plays like World of Warcraft or reads fantasy books and stuff like that. And I just think that putting yourself in a box through some narrative that, let's face it, might not even be valid at this point, is only going to put you back. And I'm speaking from experience. I've definitely hindered my own growth, just because I figured that, certain situations wouldn't match with my story and everything. And like, whether it be being friends with somebody or just taking a risk or something. And looking back, I wish that I didn't feel that way, but this meditation session today just really kind of resonated with me. I didn't even know if I wanted to make a video. Then I realized that it would be my 30th video, so I got excited about that. But I didn't want to just talk about like, oh, thanks for the views, blah, 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 blah. I wanted to have something that you guys could connect with. But all in all, I just think that it's cool to have a story. Like, if you're making a movie about yourself or writing a book, but don't be so like tied down by the story if it's just like something that you think about in your social interactions or something like that, because there's a whole lot more to you than you might realize. You just need to think about it, and also understand that like your feelings of attachment to said story, they'll flux and whatnot. It's the same thing. It's like, you can't eradicate your own story, but you can change it. And you can realize that not only can you change it, but you can look at it from a different perspective. I can look at my old self and be like, hey, I went through X, Y, and Z, and I was really quiet, but I started to see the light and I started to change, and I wanted to be a different person. And I ultimately made myself that way through hard work and consistent work. So I need to start changing my story in the way that I view it. So starting today, I'm definitely going to think about my story in a different light, and also just not fixate on it. Just realize that like every day is a new day. Today, I know it's super cliche, but today's the first day of the rest of your life type deal. I really do believe in that. So that's something that I'm going to work on, and I think it will do wonders for my mental health, not to tie myself down to a story and just allow myself to be in certain situations without, second guessing it or being like, oh, well, my old self would be kind of afraid of this. Like, screw that. Like, I don't care about that. I just want to enjoy it in the moment and continue to do that for the rest of my life. So anyway, guys, I'm sweating now, and I need to get the hell out of this car, but I love you guys. I'll post this later tonight, and I will try and post some more videos this weekend. I know I've been kind of slacking. Just want to make sure the content is A1, and I'm just not talking for no reason. So love you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.